You know, something really strange is happening in Thailand's tourism industry right now. On the one hand, the airports look busy and the government's talking about strong revenue. But then you talk to businesses on the ground and they're all asking the same thing. Where are all the tourists? It's a modern day mystery, and we're going to dive right in.
So, this really gets to the heart of the paradox. How is it possible that fewer tourists are spending more money in Thailand? This isn't just a quirky stat. It's a mystery that's literally reshaping one of the world's most famous travel spots. And it's creating some very clear winners and losers. As you're about to see, the answer is a lot more complex than you might think.
I mean, look at this. On one side, you see all the signs of a comeback, right? Planes are landing, the arrival halls are buzzing. But then you look at the other side of the coin. The local business owners, the street food vendors, the folks running small hotels, they're feeling a serious drop in customers. So what is really going on here? Okay, to figure this out, we have to go beyond just what things look like. We need to follow the money. So let's dig into the hard numbers, because they tell the real story. All right, now this chart is where the plot really thickens. Take a look. The projections show that total tourist arrivals, they're going to get back to about 90% of what they were before the pandemic. Okay, not bad. But then, look at the revenue. It's on track to hit 102%. That means it's not just recovering, it's actually surpassing the old levels. And that leads to this just stunning conclusion. Thailand is making more money from fewer people. How is that even possible? And right here, this is the single biggest piece of the puzzle. Before 2020, Chinese tourists made up a massive 28% of all international visitors. I mean, more than 1 in 4. Today, that number has been slashed in half, just 14%. We're not talking about a small dip here. This is a seismic shift, and it's the #1 reason why those streets might feel a little empty. So the obvious next question is why? I mean, why did Thailand's biggest tourism market just kind of vanish? Well, it's not just one thing. It's really a perfect storm of 3 big interconnected reasons.
Okay, so what's keeping them away? First, and this is a big one, there are safety concerns. Second, the tastes of the tourists themselves are just different now. And third, you've got a slowing economy back in China that's changing how people think about travel. Let's break each one of these down.
This quote from a business owner in Pattaya really hits home. He says customers are down about 30% and points directly to a high-profile kidnapping that blew up online. See, these kinds of incidents, amplified on social media, have done serious damage to Thailand's image as a safe place to visit. It's created a real crisis of confidence, one that experts think could take at least a year to fix. All right, second big reason. The tourists themselves have completely changed. The whole idea of big, predictable bus tours, that's fading fast. Before the pandemic, you had almost 40% of Chinese visitors coming in on group tours. Now, get this, a staggering 79% are traveling independently. We're talking about a younger crowd, Gen Z and millennials, and they are totally ditching the standard itineraries. They want unique, authentic stuff, things they can post on Instagram. And finally, the third piece of the puzzle is the economy back home. With China's economy slowing down, the government is really pushing domestic tourism. And you know what? It's working. During one big holiday recently, domestic trips just skyrocketed, blowing past pre-COVID numbers. So people are definitely still traveling, they're just choosing to spend that money a lot closer to home. But wait a minute. If millions of Chinese tourists are missing in action, how on earth is the revenue still going up? Well, it turns out a completely different type of traveler is showing up to fill the gap. And the key thing is, they're spending a whole lot more money. So say hello to the new driving force of Thai tourism. We're talking about high-spending visitors from places like Europe, Russia, and also a really fast-growing market from India. Even though arrivals from some nearby countries are down, these long-haul travelers are more than making up the difference when it comes to cash spent. I mean, just look at the contrast here. It's night and day. The recovery rate for tourists from China, it's stuck at just 41% of what it was in 2019. But then you look at Europe and Russia. They're at 122% and 123%. They aren't just back to normal. They're coming in bigger numbers than ever before. It's a total boom. Now, this massive shift in who's actually visiting Thailand is having some really big consequences. It's creating this split in the economy. It's like a tale of 2 different tourism industries, where not everybody is sharing in the good fortune. And this, right here,
is the absolute heart of the paradox. All that money from the new, high-spending tourists, it's flowing straight to the top end, the fancy hotels, the wellness spas, the premium restaurants. But what about the small businesses, the ones that counted on lots and lots of people showing up? They're getting left behind.
The hotel data tells this story perfectly. Check it out. The 4- and 5-star places, they're doing pretty well, with occupancy rates around 58%. But then you look at the hotels under 3 stars. You know, the ones that used to be packed with those big tour groups. Their occupancy rate drops all the way down to under 50%.
So yeah, this new tourism landscape has created some very clear winners and losers. In the winner's circle, you've got the 4- and 5-star hotels, wellness and healthcare, and high-end restaurants. And on the other side, feeling the pressure, are the smaller hotels, the street food vendors, and the little retail shops. All the businesses that are really struggling without that constant flow of people.
Okay, so recognizing this new reality is step 1. But step 2 is actually adapting to it. So the big question is, what is Thailand doing to navigate this new world? One that's more challenging for some, but actually potentially more profitable overall. Well, the government has a multi-part plan. First, they're making it way easier for people to visit, expanding visa-free travel to 93 countries. They're also running specific campaigns to try and win back trust with Chinese tourists. And they're making a big bet on something called soft power, basically using things like movies, food, and festivals to promote Thai culture to the world.
Well, that soft power idea, that's where things get really interesting. It leads to this fascinating kind of creative solution. What if, instead of just running ads, Thailand paid some of the world's best storytellers to do the promoting for them? Okay, so just stick with me here for a second. Let's do a little thought experiment. Imagine Thailand invests in producing just one episode of a huge hit K-drama. The cost? Somewhere between 25 and 50 million baht. Now, that sounds like a ton of money, right?
Okay, but now consider this number. The average foreign tourist spends about 48,500 baht during their trip. I think you can probably see where this is going.
Because when you do the math, it's actually incredible. To completely pay for that expensive TV episode, you'd only need to convince about 750 new tourists to come visit. That's it. Just 750 people out of the millions who watch those shows worldwide. All of a sudden, that big investment doesn't just sound smart. It sounds like an absolute bargain.
And that really brings us to the final big question. Thailand is clearly at a crossroads, right? It's moving away from a model that was all about getting as many people as possible to one that's focused on value. So is this new strategy, focusing on high-end travelers and mixing in some creative soft power like K-dramas, is that the secret to building a more resilient and ultimately more profitable future for Thai tourism? Well, I guess only time will tell.